Happy Friday, sports betting fans. This is Hardways Mike with SBI. It is the end of the workday. That it means it is the beginning of the weekend, and we are here to talk sports betting because there is so much going on this weekend. In addition to Major League Baseball, we've got the Women's World Cup wrapping up. We have EPL, English Premier League, Match Day 2. We've got NASCAR. We've got the BMW Championship in golf. We have preseason football. We've got NCAA football to look at in just 9 days now, I think. It is coming up fast and furious, so we are excited about that. Real quick, let's take a look around MLB and see what happened today. We did have that makeup game between the Tigers and the Guardians that got rained out yesterday. Tigers took a 3-1 lead in the first, never looked back. It ended up being 4-2. A couple runs scored in the ninth inning, but the Tigers win that one. Also, the Cubs played early today, the Cubs and the Royals. The Cubbies were up at one point 3-2, but 2 runs by the Royals on the top of the sixth, and that's all she wrote. Cubs end up losing that 4-3. Right now, there's only one game going on, and we'll get to the rest of the slate in a little bit. But just the Blue Jays and the Reds, a little bit of an early game. That started just a few minutes ago. It is 0-0 in the first inning there. As a reminder, our series spotlight is the Red Sox and the Yankees, which we are super excited about because of those two teams. Now, again, it's not an ideal situation in terms of where they're in the standings, but these two teams are in a tough division in the AL East, and they are battling it out, trying to crawl out of the cellar. The Yankees in particular are still 60 and 61. Let's go and take a look around the MLB Today page over on SB Intel and take a look and see who we got on the mounds for various games. We've got right now, let's look at the Braves game and the Giants game. We've got Spencer Strider on the mound for the Braves, 13-4 record with a 3.75 ERA, striking out just over 14 batters per 9 innings. I would not want to be facing off against him. The Giants are rolling out Alex Cobb, who has a 6-4 record with a 3.62 ERA, striking out just about 8 batters per 9. The Braves are the favorites in this, no doubt about that. The current line is the Atlanta Braves minus 240. You can get that at Caesars Sportsbook and FanDuel Sportsbook. If you don't have Caesar or FanDuel, you can get that at DraftKings at minus 245. If you want to back the Giants, you can double your money, plus 210 over on Bet Rivers. That's a pretty good line there, actually. Plus 210 for the Giants over on Bet Rivers. Another game that I do want to look at, I want to keep tabs on these Orioles here. Of course, they're playing the A's today, so no question who the favorite is in that one. The Orioles have Kyle Gibson on the mound, 11-7 record with a 4.89 ERA versus Francisco Perez. For the A's, he's got a 0-0 record with a 4.50 ERA. I'm not sure if this is his season starting debut, but he does not have a whole lot of starts under his belt. As you can imagine, the Orioles are favorites in this, minus 190 over on Caesars Sportsbook. That's the best line that I'm seeing across the MLB game boards. If you want to back the A's, you can get them at plus 165 over on BetMGM. That's actually not a bad line there either. Look at a couple of underdogs here. Marlins play the Dodgers tonight. That's a late game. That is a 9-10. Tony Gonsolin on the mound for the Dodgers, 8-4 record with a 4.24 ERA, striking out 7.22 batters per 9 versus Sandy Alcantara on the mound for the Marlins, 5-10 record this year, not great, 4.09 ERA there for Sandy. And the Dodgers are the favorite in that game, as you can imagine. They are minus 140 over on BetMGM. You could also get that line on PointsBet. If you want to back the Marlins, you can get them at plus 122. Caesars has the best line there for the Marlins. How about a NL East showdown between the Phillies and the Nationals? The Phillies are trotting out. Let's go over to the Today page. They have Michael Lorenzen on the mound there for the Phillies with a 7-7 record with a 3.23 ERA versus Joan Adon on the mound for the Nationals with a 1-0 record with a 5.14 ERA. The Phillies are the favorite in that. They are on the road, but they are the favorite at minus 165 over on BetMGM. If you want to back the Nationals, you can get them at plus 150 over on, Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Let's take a look at one more. We'll take a look at the White Sox and who the White Sox playing? The Rockies here. That's at 7:40 p.m. It is in Colorado, so the White Sox are on the road. The White Sox do have Michael Kopech on the mound, 5-10 record with 4.58 ERA, striking out 9.3 batters per 9 versus Pete Lambert on the mound for the Rockies, 2-4 record with a 5.46 ERA, striking out 7.75 batters per 9. The White Sox are the dogs in this. You can get them at plus 110 over on Caesars Sportsbook. It's a pretty low hold, though, to BetMGM, who's got the Rockies line at minus 120. Again, minus 120 for the Rockies at BetMGM. If you don't have BetMGM, you can get them at minus 121 over on Bet Rivers. There are a bunch more games Of course, we've got the Tigers and the Guardians game 2, and just a little bit the Brewers and the Rangers. Actually, let's look at that Brewers and Rangers game. A couple of teams that are doing quite well this year, surprisingly well. So let's see who they've got on the respective mounds here. If I can find that game over on the Today page. Let's see here. Where did that go? Here it is. Andrew Heaney on the mound for the Rangers, 9-6 record with a 4.17 ERA versus Brandon Woodruff. It looks like. Yeah, Brandon Woodruff on the mound for the Brewers. 2-1 record with a 1.99 ERA, so actually really good ERA this year for Brandon Woodruff. The Rangers are the favorites at -120. This game is in Arlington, so it's in Texas. -120 on DraftKings Sportsbook, best line that I'm seeing. Otherwise, the Brewers, you can get them at +112 at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. So that's even the lower hold there between the Brewers and the Rangers, between Bet Rivers and DraftKings. Over to our series spotlight, the Yankees and the Red Sox. 3 games in this series. That game's just a few little bit away. Brian Bello on the mound for the Red Sox. He's got an 8-7 record with a 3.81 ERA. Good year for him, for the Red Sox starter, Bayron Bello, versus Jhoany Brito on the mound for the Yankees. 4-5 record with a 4.76 ERA. So not great year for him. As I mentioned, the Yankees certainly on offense have been struggling. We mentioned earlier in the podcast this week that the Yankees were only able to muster 4 or 5 runs across 2 starts. Just not great this year for them. That said, let's take a look and see what the game board has for us. The Red Sox are the favorites in this game at -120 over on PointsBet. You can also get that at -125 at a bunch of places, including Bet Rivers, DraftKings, and BetMGM. The Yankees, the dogs. This game is in New York, however, +110 over on FanDuel Sportsbook. You can also get that at Caesar Sportsbook. If we go over to the game page, as I mentioned, PointsBet -120, Yankees +110. On Caesar Sportsbook, the run line is -1.5 for the Red Sox at +136 over on DraftKings Sportsbook versus the Yankees +1.5 at -155. A little bit of pricey there, but if we're to tease this the other way and think that the Yankees can come through, Yankees, you can double your money there. Yankees -1.5. And they're at home here, so they might not be able to bat in the ninth. This might be a tough one. +205 over in Bet Rivers versus the Red Sox +1.5 at -150. Let's go the other way. -2.5. You think the Yankees are not able to keep it pace tonight? You can get the Red Sox -2.5 at +200, and the Yankees +2.5 at -250. These are both on MGM. Total is a robust 9.5, although it is shaded to the under. If you want to take the over, you can get it at +108 over on Bet Rivers, or you can get it at +105 on DraftKings and BetMGM. If you want to take the under 9.5 runs, which isn't a terrible bet here, you can get that. The best line is -120 over on Caesar Sportsbook. Alternatively, you can get it at -125 at MGM. It's as much as high as, bad as, not bad, but it's as low as -135 over on DraftKings Sportsbook for the under 9.5 runs. So the books certainly think the under 9.5 is coming in, or at least they're shading their lines to that. If we take a look and dig into the line movement a little bit, this opened with early this morning. So we didn't actually have, I don't think we had a pitcher named until today. That's why this line didn't open until about 9 o'clock Central Time this morning. That's the Red Sox -110. That's where it opened. Got all the way down to -130, and now has come back up to -120, and that's where it's sitting right now, -120 for the Red Sox. Alternatively, the Yankees line +110, that opened, let's see here, again, same time this morning, -108, so the Yankees were close. It was almost even there, -110, it was -130, I remember. Yeah, it was -130 for the Red Sox and -110 for the Yankees. Stayed pretty flat for a while until it jumped all the way up to +108. This morning, just before noon, and that's where it stayed since then. It is currently ticking at +110. I don't expect it to move much beyond that. We've got the Yankees projected for 4 runs, the Red Sox for 5, with a 55.4% chance for the Red Sox to win this one. Let's go over to our MLB player props page and see. Aaron Judge is in the lineup tonight, and he has been okay since coming back. He's certainly hit a couple of home runs. If we look at his home runs tonight, you can get as high as +285 on FanDuel, and I've seen his line down in the 220s before. So 285 for Judge hit home run tonight over on FanDuel. It's not terrible. Otherwise, you're looking at +240 on DraftKings and BetMGM are the best lines. So not an ideal situation. Let's look at somebody over in the Red Sox, Rafael Devers, perhaps. Rafael if I knew how to spell that. There it is. Rafael Devers home runs over 295 on DraftKings or on FanDuel. 295 on DraftKings plus 275 on BetMGM plus 310 on FanDuel. So not bad there. I know Tristan Casas hit a home run for the Red Sox yesterday. Devers is certainly the home run hitter there for the Red Sox. One more, Giancarlo Stanton over for the Yankees. Giancarlo Stanton home runs over. Okay, 450 on DraftKings, and that's the highest line. Otherwise, 420 on FanDuel, so not huge lines there. Sam does hit home runs on occasion, but not anything really that's striking me that's standing out, although that 450 to 420 line isn't terrible. That's enough for MLB. We've got a ton more games. It is a full slate today, full slate on Sunday, Saturday, full slate on Sunday, of course. It looks like a smaller slate on Monday, and then we'll wrap around to Dinger Tuesday here in just a few days. The weekend will be gone. Before we know it, we've got Major League Soccer starting 2 days. I believe Sunday is the next game, but we also have English Premier League. Match day 2 is starting today. Well, it started today. Nottingham Forest won 2-1 over Sheffield United. We've got a big slate tomorrow. Chelsea and West Ham. Go over to our game boards, and you can find international soccer money lines and point totals. You can also find everything you need to know about the games in our game boards. For example, I've got Chelsea and West Ham. I just pulled up the money line. Now, this is draw no bet. The best line for Chelsea, minus 190, draw no bet on DraftKings Sportsbook. West Ham, plus 150, also on DraftKings Sportsbook. But if I dig in, I go to the page, I can see the spread, the totals on the games here. Three-way money lines, the money line, draw no bet, the spreads, the totals, and I can tease that up and down as well. So a lot of opportunity to bet. If you're into soccer, this is the place to be. There is tons of soccer starting up right now. No shortage of Major League Baseball from now through October, of course, but we do have NFL games starting very, very shortly. We've got 2 weeks left in preseason camp, but we've got preseason games that are going wild this year. We had an 18-18 tie last night between the Browns and the Eagles. We got 2 games tonight. We've got the Panthers and the Giants, which start right now, just in a few minutes. We got the Bengals and the Falcons tonight at 6:30. I'll be watching both of those games, flipping back and forth between that and the White Sox game, which starts at 7:30, 7:40. We're also pulling lines for Week 1 for the NFL. So take a look at our game board for Week 1. Could be some value to be had there. Let's just look at the first game of the year. That's the Lions and the Chiefs. Thursday, September 7th. The Lions are the dog. Plus 240 is the best line. You can get that at PointsBet and FanDuel. Otherwise, you're paying minus 270 for DraftKings Sportsbook. If you don't have DraftKings, you want to take the Chiefs, you can get them at 278, minus 278 at Caesars. Otherwise, minus 295 on BetRivers and FanDuel. Don't forget to check out This Week in College Football, which is now live for our subscribers. It is everything you need to know about football betting tools. When it comes to betting college football, there are certainly a lot of options. This page has the most important betting analysis you can find at a glance. Focus in on what matters just for the games you're betting. And don't forget, there are tons of games starting August 26th. So actually, I believe we're 8 days away. I said earlier in the pod, we're 9 days away. We are 8 days away. So let's pull up the Pac-12 here, and we'll see the first game of the season for the Pac-12. It's USC versus San Jose State. USC is going to be, of course, under center. We're going to have Caleb Williams, who's widely thought to be the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. He certainly should be putting on a show this year. Otherwise, August 31st, we've got the Utah Utes versus the Florida Gators. So we have an SEC Pac-12 showdown. Should be a lot of fun. The Utes are the favorite in that, minus 7, minus 285. That 7 line is on PointsBet. That 285 is on FanDuel. You can get plus 7 at minus 110 over on DraftKings for the Florida Gators, plus 240 at MGM. So check it out. Let us know what you think about it. This is just scratching the surface of everything that we've had. From a glance, you can see all the games in the respective conferences, but you can drill in, find team stats. You can find team advanced stats. If you hover over any of those, it'll tell you exactly what these advanced stats mean. Use this to help build your betting statuses across the entirety of NCAA football. We've got the schedules, we have the line data, quickly at a glance, figure it out, find it, and don't forget we have our summer special promo wrapping up later this year, shortly in early September. So go ahead and jump on that before it's too late. I want to close out with a couple of quick things here. WNBA, we have WNBA tonight. We've got Chicago Sky versus the Atlanta Dream. The Sky are my team because we are in Chicago here. The Sky are the dogs. They are on the road, plus 110 for Chicago, minus 130 for Atlanta. These are both courtesy of DraftKings Sportsbook. Over in golf, of course, we have the BMW Championship. We've got 2 rounds in now, and while it looked like Rory was going to be walking away with this thing, he dropped back a little bit today. Shot a 5. Let's see, he's sitting at 5 under right now. Max Homa in the lead. He's at 10 under par, just kind of out of nowhere today, and it shot incredibly. You got Kirk behind him at 8 under, and then at you've got Fitzpatrick and Harmon at 7 under, and then you got a bunch of guys at 5 under. Justin Rose, Scotty Scheffler, Harrison English, Ricky Fowler, and Rory McIlroy. Still very much anyone's tournament, the BMW Championship at Olympia Fields, but Max Homa goes into round 3 tomorrow morning with a commanding lead at 10 under par, although Kirk could be nipping at his heels with a couple of good birdies in a row. Homa is the odds to win. He has the best odds to win this at plus 190 over on DraftKings. Behind him, Rory, even though he's in 5th place, at plus 750, and then Scotty Scheffler at plus 800. Interesting to see Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. Scotty having slightly worse odds than Rory, even though they're both tied at 5 under. As I mentioned yesterday, Scotty just not getting it done the last month. He might be slipping. I wonder if he's going to lose that number 1 world rank here if he doesn't start winning some tournaments soon. And then finally, we'll close it out with this. We've got the World Cup. We have the 3rd place game, which will be tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. Central Time, so set your alarm so I know I'll be up. Sweden versus Australia. Look at the 3-way money line. Sweden plus 140, draw plus 240. I'll be certainly betting on that draw. There's been a lot of draws in the World Cup, and I like that plus 240, almost 2.5 times my bet on that. And then Australia plus 175. If we get a to lift the cup or to finish 3rd in this case, Sweden is the favorite, minus 125 versus Australia at plus 100. I'm a little bummed that neither of these teams could make it to the final. I had longer odds futures on both Sweden and Australia, although I have a little bit on Spain and England. The big money certainly was on Sweden this year, and I was looking to hedge out. Not going to happen this year, but I do have money on Spain and England, so I'm going to come out a little bit ahead regardless. That final game is on Sunday morning at 5 a.m. Again, set your alarms. I'm not sure if I'm going to be staying up for that one or waking up for that one yet. We'll see. But Spain, plus 165 on the 3-way money line versus a draw, plus 190 versus England, plus 185. So Spain is the favorite. Very, very slim favorite here to win the cup, to lift the cup, whatever you want to say. Spain to win the Women's World Cup, minus 115 versus England, minus 110. If this went down to penalty kicks, that would be incredible. I'm sure that the World Cup would love to see something as exciting as that. We'll certainly see how it comes. I'm going to be looking forward to watching this one. Again, that's at Sunday morning at 5 a.m. That'll wrap up the World Cup for this year. I want to leave you with a quick plus EV bet. Over on Bet Rivers, Bet Rivers seems to have a lot of these alternative lines, these tease run lines here. I mentioned one yesterday in the podcast. There's one today. It's the Orioles -3 run line at Bet Rivers at plus 190 odds. You can get that for tonight's game, which is 8:40 p.m. Central Time. That is a just over 5% plus EV bet. Again, that's the Orioles alternative run line of -3 runs over on Bet Rivers, plus 190. That's your EV bet. That's it for me today. We'll be back this weekend to talk more Major League Baseball, to talk more PGA golf, to talk the Women's World Cup, of course, as any other sports that come up. We didn't even have time to touch on NASCAR today or Major League Soccer, but plenty of opportunities this weekend. It looks like it's going to be gorgeous here in the Chicagoland area, so let's enjoy the weekend, everybody. My name is Hardways Mike with SBI. As we say over here at SBI, you don't always have to bet, but when you do, wager wisely.